Gear Acquisition Syndrome. Don't tell me you haven't had it, because we all like buying new sample libraries to help our professional development, and it's not, it's buying toys really, isn't it? We know that, we love them, but gas is a real thing. Gear Acquisition Syndrome, and in this video I'm going to go through 5 top tips to hopefully avoid Gear Acquisition Syndrome for you. Number 1, unsubscribe. Unsubscribe from all of those sample library newsletters. We get them day in, day out. New stuff that we must buy. So unsubscribe from it so that you're not tempted all the time. It's like taking kids to sweet shops, to a sweet shop every day and expecting them not to be nagging you for sweets. Unsubscribe from them. Stop watching those YouTube channels about gear reviews and stuff. Stop going on, what is it? There's VST something forum. There's a really famous one that I've forgotten. Don't browse all of these things, because you'll just think, oh my goodness, I really have to have these things. Second thing, this is a really, really good strategy. Get a piece of paper or do it somehow, write down electronically a list of all the sample libraries you do currently have. Okay, every single one of them. This is a really good cure technique, by the way. Write down what you do have. Reading my notes down here. This will really frighten you. As much as you can do, next to each sample library, write down how much you spent on it and add it up at the bottom, so that you've just had a little bit of a inventory and you know so far how many sample libraries you have and how much money approximately you spent on them so far. Then ask yourself, well, do I use them all to their fullest extent? And do I know them all inside out? If the answer is no, then you're wasting money, really, aren't you? You're not, you know, if your stuff doesn't sound as good as the samples or as good as the demos maybe on the websites and stuff, you know, it's you that needs improving, and you don't need a new sample library. It's all right, we love buying new toys, but it's a good way to sort of make you stop and think, isn't it? Watching the reviews and watching the demos of the libraries that you already have as well can be a really, really inspiring thing. So as I just said a minute ago, if your music doesn't sound as good as the demos of the samples that you have, then you've got some work to do to a certain extent. There's a number of caveats with that, but broadly speaking, watch some reviews of the sample libraries that you've got already. Read some of the stuff in the magazines about the sample libraries you've already got, and you'll think, oh, actually, you know, everyone's going on about how good these were. It might have been 2 years ago or something, 3 years ago, but it doesn't really matter. It still stands to reason that actually those things that you already have are probably good, and you probably don't actually need to be spending more. Do that exercise in sort of in combination with the one previously where you added up all of the amount, and see if those two things maybe make you think a little bit more carefully. Start using one of the subscription models. So there's East West, there's Museo, there's other ones. I think there's maybe plugin subscriptions as well. Slate maybe do one, or Waves maybe do one. It's worth looking up if you have an addiction to plugins. I don't have an addiction to plugins. I have a problem with string sample libraries. But actually, that can be really good, because if you are a member of one of those and you feel the need to get some new sounds, you can just download something, and it's part of your subscription. You know, you can download a new library every month or something, and it doesn't cost you anything. Again, you have to question whether you should do. Are you just filling up your hard drive with stuff that you'll never use, or filling up your hard drive with stuff that you might use a couple of times and then sort of forget, or only use on a very surface level? It may not be the best policy, but if you are really, really hankering after new sounds and you love the shiny, new, exciting, inspiring feel of having a new sample library every so often, rather than blowing £300 or £400 or $400 each time, just get a Museo subscription and download the Cine sample stuff, or the East West stuff. East West have brought out some really good stuff in the last few years. The Hollywood brass, no, the pot brass, for example, is great, and I do rate the new Hollywood strings too, for certain things as well, is really great. There's a vocal thing as well, is really, really good. And the fantasy orchestra, you get a whole orchestra for $20 a month, is it? Or something like that. It's incredible. So that's another way around it. I think this can be really, really cost effective. If you're enjoying this or you found something useful out of it, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. It'd be great to stay in touch. Leave a comment, make this a two-way process. It makes it really, really great. And then we get a great sense of community if that happens. Final point. It's the producer and not the tools. It's the music producer and not the tools. I haven't fact checked this, but I have in the back of my mind that certainly the Billie Eilish and her first album, if not two albums, Ocean Eyes, was that a very early hit. It was all done with stock Logic sounds, I think. Fact check it if you want, but you can do a huge amount without spending any money. You know, you're likely to have got, if you use Logic, you've got a fantastic set of sounds there. If you use Cubase, even the basic Cubase Elements comes with a synthesizer and a lot of really good basic samples. You can do a huge amount with those. If you play to the samples or you compose to the sample strength, if that makes sense. So you're not trying to do beautiful legato string lines with strings that are only sound really, really good short and haven't got good legato transitions, for example. It does restrict you slightly, but to a certain extent, it's the producer or the composer and not the sounds that are really important. So it might be that if you can be really restrained, you might be better spending money or time researching new techniques, how to improve your orchestration, how to improve your harmony or your melody writing. Yeah, it's hard work, but that might actually produce better results than blowing your money on a new sample library. It's worth thinking about, I think, that if you are trying to write music that's original in sounding or has some sense of authenticity to it, or that you want to rise above the crowd, a lot of composers, lots of producers are doing the easy thing. They will not concentrate on their harmonic language or melody writing or things that, you know, take some work and some brain power. They won't create their own sounds themselves. They'll just use presets. They'll always, you know, a majority will always look for the easy way out, the quick route, the quick solution. And if you're wanting to stand out and you're wanting to be different and you're wanting to really be better, then actually getting stuck in and doing the hard work might be a better way forward, or a better way of spending your money on education than it would be than spending it on a new, I was going to say Spitfire. I don't know why Spitfire came to my mind there, but spending it on a new sample library. Okay, I hope that's given you food for thought. I'd really like to hear what you think on that. Do you have gas? Have you had gas? How do you get over gas? Does it matter? Is it okay to have gas? Is it better to be addicted to buying sample libraries than coffee or illegal drugs? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. That'll be interesting. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.